A couple of days ago, I took a look at one of the two new Mini Racer Race and Rescue 3-packs, and in that video, I discussed my disappointment with the 2025 Mini Racers lineup and my fear for the future of the toy line, as it's starting to feel like it's really on its last legs thanks to several decisions that were made with the line this year. This year, 2025, has given us the smallest amount of new Mini Racers ever, with, I'm pretty sure, less than 10. Another thing that I've heard is that this year we've gotten one less blind box series than usual, with 3 instead of the typical 4. And also this year, for the first time ever, we aren't receiving a Mini Racers advent calendar, something that has come out every single year since 2017, when the line first started. We have very, very few new releases this year. All of them are themed to the Race and Rescue line, and of those, none of them are really up to par with the ones that Mattel did for the 155 scale line. While I don't really mind all the new minis being themed to Race and Rescue, it's something I was fully expecting since last year nearly all of the minis were GRC except for like 2 or 3. I get that. You know, it's also what the 155 scale line is doing. But really, these minis just scream lower budget than what we usually get. You see, not only do we only have about 6 or 7 of these guys, we don't even have any of the racers from Race and Rescue. We just got a small handful of the rescue vehicles, leaving us with awkward scenarios like the other 3-pack, which I reviewed the other day, which includes new Race and Rescue variants of McQueen and Sheriff, but just a regular old Chick Hicks. Beyond that, most of the new items we do have reuse molds from pre-existing mini racers, despite the fact that their 155 scale counterparts use new molds. For example, the McQueen we took a look at the other day here reuses the mold for Deputy Hazard. You can see everything down to the mouth and the light bar is exactly the same. Well, meanwhile, Mattel's 155 scale version of the item went out of their way to use a differently molded light bar to make the two items more unique. That continues not only in some of the items in the blind boxes, like the ridiculous Kathy Copter that's actually a repaint of the Dynaco helicopter, despite them not being anything alike. They're both helicopters, yeah, but beyond that, they're very different. And this 3-pack right here exemplifies the issue, as both Sally and Luigi in the 155 scale line use different special molds that feature accessories, with Luigi holding a flag and Sally having a tray of cones on top of her, but the mini racers for them just reused the regular molds. I really hope this is a fluke, guys. I really hope that the line's going to get revitalized soon, but I'm starting to get pretty worried. Next year's mini racers just say mini on the boxes. I don't know what they're trying to do. Maybe they're trying to save it, but it is pretty unfortunate. Mater's fine, though. Anyway, guys, welcome back to another review. Sorry for the lengthy intro there. I just wanted to fill you guys in case you didn't watch my review the other day, and also just kind of, recap what's going on with the minis right now, since I haven't really heard anybody talking about that, and it's something I'm genuinely concerned about as someone who really loves the mini racers. But today, we're going to be celebrating the mini racers, even if some of their decisions are a bit unfortunate, by taking a look at the new Mini Racers Race and Rescue 3-pack. According to online listings, this one is labeled as pack number 1, the one we took a look at the other day was pack number 2. This pack includes Sally, Luigi, and Mater. I'm not sure which of these guys are in the boxes and which are exclusive to the 3-pack, but I will say Sally and Luigi are pretty disappointing items, but Mater actually does have a new mold. He's one of only 2 new mini racers this year that uses a new mold, the other one being Morgan Martin's. As you can see, the packaging has a bit of a red ombre effect, both here and on the back, to sort of reflect the gradient design used on the Race and Rescue items. We also have a Race and Rescue logo there. Beyond that, everything else is the exact same as, the mini racer packaging we've been getting all year, which I'm a big fan of. Absolutely love how that looks. Now let's pop these guys out of the package, and I am happy because this is a rare case of a Mini Racers 3-pack where all 3 minis are new for this year. That is really great. We're also getting Radiator Springs character variants, which you don't get all that often in the Mini Racers line. When it comes to characters like Sally and Luigi, there are very few of them out there, especially if you don't have the advent calendars. Then you're only going to have 2 or 3 of each of these characters. This is, I believe, my 5th Sally. Let's see, I'm looking over my collection. Yeah, I've got the normal one, Racing Red, the holiday one, and then that weird random Dynaco wrap one they did. Then Luigi well, there's the normal one, glow-in-the-dark one, and the holiday one. So I do appreciate these characters getting new variants when they don't often. What I don't appreciate is the lack of new molds, the lack of accuracy to the regular 155 scale items. Now, this is something we've seen in the Mini Racers line before, honestly. You see, Luigi I can kind of excuse. Luigi's Race and Rescue item is a reuse of the Race Start Luigi mold. He has a flag, it's a little danger flag, and in the past, the Mini Racers line has not given us flags with characters that need them, i.e. Dexter Hoover, right? He's the Piston Cup flag waver, and his Mini did not include the flag because it would just be simply too small. So I get that for Luigi, I get not including the flag for Luigi because of that, but like, why make Luigi then, right? Right? Sally, I can't really think of any excuses for. I think you easily could have given Sally that little hat. They've done little things like that on the minis before. I mean, come on, McQueen has a light bar on him. Sally's hat is bigger than that. It's just really unfortunate to see that they're just not doing new molds for these. You know what it kind of reminds me of? Kind of reminds me of when they did the XRS drag racers as minis and didn't give them the drag racing accessories. But back then, you know, we were getting a lot more minis a year, so I wasn't concerned the line was ending then. It's just all these combinations, all these factors coming together makes me pretty concerned. If you could look past Luigi missing his accessory, he does look pretty good. He's got a slightly different expression from your normal Luigi mini, which is pretty great. And the rest of him is completely accurate to the 155 scale item. I don't have that just yet. I don't have Sally either. I don't have Mater either, actually. But despite the fact that they're both missing their accessories, their paint jobs are accurate to the die casts from what I've seen. I made sure to double check from some people that do have them before the video started. We've got the Race and Rescue logo there with these red stripes and this little red part on the side. More red over here with Luigi's license plate. He also has the rescue writing, Race and Rescue writing written up here. That just seems really awkward to me, especially the and being connected to the, look, you have Race and Giant Space Rescue. Graphic design is my passion, guys. No, I don't know. It just looks a little awkward. It feels like Luigi's got like a back of the... You ever see someone who's got like a tattoo on the back of their neck? Right? That's what this Luigi looks like to me. There's a look at the other side. There's a look at his base. I don't know. I mean, it's hard, right? Because the missing accessories really overshadow these guys. But on their own, they do look perfectly fine. And I am happy to get a new Luigi in the collection. Even though sitting there on my shelf, he's not going to look all that different since most of the new stuff about him is going on in the back. Sally, meanwhile, does actually have the Race and Rescue logo on her hood, which I think looks pretty nice. I think it's pretty hit or miss on some items, but it fitting right there on Sally's hood looks pretty great. She does have your typical Mini Racers Sally expression, right? Yeah, painted a little bit differently. I will say I really like this facial expression. Her eyes are quite big, but I do like that they are changing up the eye expression for these guys, if even just a little tiny bit. She's got a bit of a raised eyebrow, and that's nice because all the 155 scale ones have a new expression. So it's nice to see the minis, at the very least, are changing up the eyes, even if they're not using different molds. Sally has this rescue detailing on the side with some stripes. Not much going on. Almost like one of the main things about this Sally is the fact that she has an accessory with a tray of cones for her to place down on top of her, and that's missing here. Yeah, again, hard for that to not overshadow these items. They look good on their own, but with such a glaring omission there, you know, it's awkward. It's really similar. I know I said it's similar to the XRS minis, but what it reminds me of the most are the Advent Calendar minis, which I love. I love them so much, but nearly all the Advent Calendar minis are adaptations of the designs from Mater Saves Christmas, but none of the Advent Calendars ever used new molds for their mini racers. So they would just give them their details painted on and call it a day. So Sally, right, Sally would have all of her little Christmas accessories painted on her. Let me grab my Sally so you can see. But she wouldn't have the earmuffs because, again, they weren't making a new mold. Sometimes they'd get creative. They actually painted Fillmore's light string on him, but, you know, they would just never use new molds. So, yeah. That's what this really feels like to me. That's why it feels so much lower budget to me. One strange thing about the Sally is the multicolored wheel thing going on. That's something that we see on the racers in this line, as well as Rescue McQueen. When I reviewed the regular Diecaster Rescue McQueen, I said how weird I thought that was. I'm not a big fan of the non-racer, like non-racing characters. Obviously, McQueen is a racer, and we know Sally goes super fast too, right? But I think it's weird for the ones not engaged in the race to have kind of this flashy, multicolored wheel design. But whatever. Striping moves around the back. You can see Sally's license plate, and actually the tattoo on her is missing. Is that something missing from her normal item? No, it's down there. Actually, her Carrera logo is also missing. That is super weird. I wonder if it's missing because the regular Race and Rescue Sally diecast has her spoiler down. Maybe they were just given images of that, so they didn't include the tattoo. I don't know. Anyway, there's a look at the base. Now let's move on to Mater, who's easily the best one in the pack, as he was actually given a completely new mold. I'm going to go pretty quick with this Mater, since I did just take a look at his color changer just yesterday, and this review is getting pretty long, but it is nice to see him have this fully new mold here. He's got a pretty nice expression, pretty good eye expression as well. Logo there on the hood is just mirrors. Mine a little bit off center. Am I going crazy? Is right? It's just a little off to the left. Maybe? I said when I reviewed the color changer yesterday that I really like how Mater's been kind of refurbished for this, how it makes perfect sense. And I'm especially a huge fan of his massive emergency vehicle tow cable assembly he was given, which, man, I am so happy that in this year where we're barely getting any new molds for the minis, they went out of their way to make sure that Mater had his. I really appreciate that. I mean, honestly, let me grab brand new Mater. I might be completely wrong. This might just be like the exact same mold as their brand new Mater. You know what? Yeah, I think that might be it. I think it might just be the exact same mold as brand new Mater, but with a different, yeah, it's with a different plastic piece plugged in here for the back. But hey, I'll take it. I'll still take it. It is different. It is them going out of their way. Again, they didn't include the plastic pieces on these guys and didn't swap out the plastic piece on McQueen, despite the fact that the 155 scale one did, so I do appreciate that. This is supposed to be the same mold as brand new Mater, just with a different towing assembly, so can't complain there. Very appreciative that they did make changes, and it looks nice. I love the whole emergency vehicle look. It's multicolored as well, which is great. Big red hook on the end, flashy siren up there. There's a look at the back there with his classic A113 license plate, and the hazard stripes change to a more medical yellow and blue. There's a look at the other side, and finally there is a look at the base. A pretty solid looking item. Yeah, he's copyright dated 2017, so it is a pre-existing mold. Pretty solid looking item there. Again, like I've been saying several times throughout this video, it's hard to look at this pack without seeing how, you know, these items are missing the accessories they're supposed to have. At the very least, we got it with Mater, and all in all, I'd still say it's a pretty good pack. It is, again, a very rare case where you're getting 3 new minis in a pack. Mater is easily the highlight. I'm very happy to get a new Luigi and Sally, even if they're not as accurate as they should be. Always nice to add more to them to the collection, more of them to the collection. And yeah, this is it for minis. Unless I find some of the boxes where I think the only new item in there is Morgan Martin's, and eventually Kathy Copter in red. I think this is it for me for minis for 2025, which is a shame. It's a shame to sign off in August after reviewing so few, and I really do hope that the future for this line is bright, but I don't know at this point. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you think about these items and the mini racers right now as a whole in the comments. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.